Invite viewers to post their location and local time. The man who once thrived in boardrooms now wakes to the silence of high Colorado ridges far above the chatter of suburbs. He brews coffee over a wood fire, the kind that smells faintly of pine sap and nostalgia, then sits on his porch with a notebook writing essays about solitude that pay just enough to keep flour in the pantry. He has no neighbors, unless you count the squirrels who argue over acorns, or the elk who stomp their opinions into the snowpack. Historians still argue whether isolation sharpens sanity or dulls it, but to him the stillness hums through his bones like a hymn. 90 acres of forest and stone are his inheritance, passed down by a grandfather who fought tooth and nail against developers. Along with the deed came an old rifle with a carved elk on its stock and a handwritten charge, "Let the ridge stay wild." He carries that line in his chest like scripture. The cabin is no palace, just timber walls he raised himself, stained by sun and storms, but it is a cathedral of freedom compared to the cubicle he fled in Seattle. Out here he fixes leaks with duct tape, powers his life with solar panels, and jokes that his sourdough starter deserves its own zip code. Peace, though, rarely stays unchallenged. One morning, as dawn breaks violet across the ridge, the low echo of construction seeps through the trees. Jackhammers, backup beepers, steel beams colliding. At first he shrugs it off. Progress happens. Let the valley sprout golf course suburbs as long as they keep their manicured lawns downwind. But soon a new road scars the hillside, lined with tidy lamps that look more like a theme park than wilderness. A sign appears, "Future site of Silver Ridge Mountain Community." The word community makes him itch. He assumes they will ignore his hidden trail. He assumes wrong. Days later, a laminated sign is nailed brazenly to a pine, "Welcome to Silver Ridge, HOA Mountain Preserve Zone. Access restricted." According to their plastic plaque, he is trespassing on his own driveway. He rips it down, tosses it in his truck bed, and drives to the county office. The clerk, Joe, who smells of pipe smoke and permanent skepticism, scans the old plat maps and smirks. "As far as the county's concerned, you're sole owner from marker 38 down to the creek. HOA don't own spit up there." The man exhales, but Joe warns with a chuckle. These things never end with just one sign. Sure enough, within days, fresh tire tracks crawl halfway up his switchback road. And soon after she arrives, Karen Bradley, HOA president, straddling a quad bike like a suburban conquistador. Sunglasses gleam clipboard brims with citations, and her smirk says she's about to grade his mountain for non-compliance. She rattles off infractions: chimney not to code, wood stain, off-pallet flagpole disrupting skyline views. He points out the obvious: he is not part of their HOA. She counters with jargon about integration protocols and northern corridor overlays. He tells her to leave. Her assistants retreat. She slaps an envelope against his chest, promising lawyers. That night he sips whiskey on the porch, watching valley string lights twinkle below like a false constellation. Silence is gone. Something in her confidence gnaws at him. Belief in imaginary jurisdiction he knows can be dangerous. The ridge is about to become a battlefield, not of guns, but of paperwork and persistence. Morning frost still crunches under his boots when he meets Ellis, an old geodetic surveyor with half a beard and a drone that hums like a mechanical hawk. They walk the boundaries, check corner markers, and overlay GPS scans against decades-old plats. The verdict is crystal. Every spruce, every rock outcrop from the creek bed to the northern summit belongs to him. Ellis jokes. Unless she's using a magic map, you're solid. The man laughs, but not long. Within days, certified letters land in his mailbox, citations for his chimney, his facade, even his flagpole. Each comes with a threat of $100 per day fines. HOA creativity knows no limits. Historians still argue whether bureaucracy is humanity's worst invention or its most absurd comedy. He responds with his own creativity, a solar-powered gate keypad access, even fake drone surveillance signs. HOA golf carts retreat like startled raccoons. Yet Karen escalates, leading tour groups onto his ridge, trying to climb his gate until her cardigan snags and she dangles like a scarecrow. The video goes viral, christened Carentula, and millions laugh while he quietly adds it to his growing evidence folder. Still, the harassment morphs. Fire inspectors arrive, then zoning agents, then a pair of clipboard-wielding 20-somethings claiming to represent eco-harmony. Each leaves empty-handed, impressed even, but the noise is constant. That's when Trent, an old landscaper friend, slips him the bombshell. An internal HOA development map shows a gondola station, snack bar, and luxury cabins sketched right across his ridge. Worse, it labels his property as proposed Phase 3. He nearly spits his coffee. Karen isn't just bluffing, she's pitching his land to investors. Time to call reinforcements. Enter Amy Garner, lawyer, mid-40s, sharp as barbed wire. He dumps a folder of HOA nonsense on her desk. She flips through with mounting irritation. They redrew maps, filed fake complaints, and pitched profit off land they don't own. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Together, they fire off cease and desist letters, send certified warnings to county and state, and prep for war. The HOA retaliates with a lawsuit accusing him of defamation and non-cooperation with beautification efforts. He nearly falls out of his chair laughing. Amy counters with harassment, fraud, and trespass. Then comes the subpoena of their internal records, and cracks appear fast. Anonymous tips roll in. A board member admits Karen used Google Earth and a ruler to redraw jurisdiction. A planner reveals the county twice rejected rezoning attempts. And finally, a contractor leaks the investor pitch deck complete with bullet points, like negotiation with landholder expected to resolve in HOA favor via zoning pressure. By now, his ridge is a fortress of trail cams, laminated warning signs, and a bulletin board he dubs the HOA scoreboard, stapled with every cleared inspection report. Neighbors from Silver Ridge whisper apologies. One even drops off a six-pack as tribute. Online memes multiply. Karen dangling from a fence set to opera music dubbed Queen of the Ridge. Yet beneath the humor, tension builds. Someone cuts his fence lock, steals his generator, even leaves a dead squirrel posed upright on his porch. This is no longer paperwork, it's vendetta. And vendetta has a way of marching straight into courtrooms. The courtroom hums like a pressure cooker. Fluorescent lights glare, reporters shuffle notebooks, and Karen arrives draped in pearls that clash with the panic etched across her face. The judge, sharp-eyed and impatient, sets the tone. This is not a zoning forum. This is a property rights case. Amy opens with surgical precision. First the deed, then the certified survey, then aerial maps reaching back to the 1960s. Layer by layer, she dismantles the HOA's fantasy jurisdiction. The gallery chuckles when she rolls footage of Karen dangling on the fence mid-inspection tour, the clerk stifling a laugh until the gavel slams. Karen's lawyers argue visionary leadership and community growth. The judge cuts them short. Are you claiming you mistook private property for a community park? Silence. Then Amy calls Karen to the stand. Calm questions slice sharper than blades. Did she know about gondola plans? Exhibit A, her approval email. Did she authorize inspections? Exhibit B, board minutes signed with her hand. Did she understand the landowner was never part of her HOA? Her answer: it's complicated. Amy: no, it's really not. When it's his turn, the man doesn't rant. He speaks of his grandfather, the ridge, the promise to keep it wild. He explains he didn't choose this fight but would never abandon it. His words aren't polished, but they resonate deeper than any legal jargon. By closing arguments, even Silver Ridge residents in the gallery nod quietly. A week later, the ruling arrives. Amy calls while he's splitting firewood. We won. Big. The HOA is ordered to pay $750,000 in damages. Karen, personally liable for harassment and fraud, permanently barred from the board. A judicial injunction forever exempts his ridge from HOA jurisdiction. The judge's final line becomes legend. You cannot govern what you do not own. You cannot control what you do not respect. Life on the ridge steadies again. He burns the old no trespassing sign, replaces it with a cedar plaque. Welcome to the ridge. If you made it this far, you probably earned it. Neighbors bring pie and apologies. The county redraws maps stamping his ridge private protected. Online, the Carentula video surges past 4 million views. One DJ remixes her shrieks into a techno beat. He shrugs. Fame wasn't the point. Fame. And yet something has shifted. He is no longer just a recluse with sourdough ambitions. He is the man who stood against paper tyrants and won. The ridge exhales with him, wind sweeping like a hymn across the pines. He realizes he doesn't need silence to feel at peace, only the assurance that silence cannot be stolen. The wind down begins here, and now with the weight of courts and headlines behind him, his mountain returns to its own rhythm. Days stretch longer, measured not by legal deadlines, but by the shifting glow of sunrise across granite. Nights settle slower, coyotes howling just far enough away to sound like echoes of ancient guardians. He lets his hands linger on rough cedar shaping, nothing urgent, just mending fences for the sake of touch. The phone rings less. The trail cams blink rarely. In stillness, his pulse realigns with the earth beneath his boots. He learns again what his grandfather knew. The mountain was never about walls or papers. It was about breathing with a place until it recognizes you as part of its skin. Historians may argue whether victory comes from courts or courage, but here, high above manicured lamps and empty bylaws, the truth is simpler. Some ridges are not meant to be managed. Some silences are not meant to be disturbed. So he stays sipping slow coffee, hearing wind threads weave through spruce and stone. No HOA, no letters, no more plastic signs, just a ridge that hums with quiet approval. And as the stars settle deeper across the Colorado sky, his voice softens with the mountain's rest. Easy now, the line has been held. Word count 5.